The night after our graduate thesis defense, I broke up with Willow, just because I helped him with his résumé and not you. She raised an eyebrow and chuckled. I said, yeah. She shrugged. All right, don't regret it. We'd known each other since we were 5, childhood sweethearts. Throughout our youth, she was sure I'd never leave her, but she didn't know. The résumé was just an excuse. I had already fixed mine and sent it out. I'd landed a job in a city as far away from her as possible. This time, I was really leaving her. Chapter 1. Just because I helped him with his résumé and not you. It was at the coffee shop downstairs from the office. Afternoon sunlight slanted across Willow's delicate side profile. Stirring her coffee, she asked with a half smile. Mr. Wong, are you really that petty? I nodded. Petty enough to break up. She rested her chin on her hand, her eyes lifting at the corners. How many times is this now? Remember? I paused. She leaned back lazily into the sofa and continued. 8th, 9th, or 10th. Don't be ridiculous, George. After more than 10 years, you can't live without me. I shook my head. No one's indispensable. We'll both live. She let out a soft oh, nodded, and said, all right, just don't regret it. I won't. I stood up and walked out, right into Makoto. He had a document folder tucked under his arm. Willow, the final interview notice from that foreign company just came through. I'm still not confident. Could you help me go over the interview strategy again? Willow didn't respond right away, but her gaze landed on me. If this had been before, I'd have snapped at him right then. What does your interview have to do with Willow? But I was tired of this happening over and over. I turned to leave, but Makoto stopped me. George, don't misunderstand. Willow and I are just regular friends. He bit his lip, his expression innocent. No one in my family understands these things. That's why I asked Willow for help. This job opportunity means everything to someone like me who came from a small town. Don't get upset with Willow over something so trivial. She stayed up late helping me with mock interviews. Her voice was completely hoarse afterward. I couldn't help but interrupt. Oh, just friends and you're practicing at her apartment until 11 every night. Just friends and when you have a fever you insist she stays with you at the hospital. Just friends and every time you buy a new tie, you send her a photo asking if it matches. Just friends and you always call for help right when she and I are on a date. What are you, an orphan or friendless? Since you know you're just the chauffeur's son and not her real boyfriend, have you completely forgotten what boundaries are? Makoto froze. His eyes reddened instantly. He looked down, shoulders trembling. George. Willow stood up, pulled out a tissue and handed it to him with a sigh. I know you've got a sharp tongue, but could you not use it to bully someone just because he's honest? A tear splashed onto the table from Makoto's face. In the quiet corner of the cafe, his muffled sobs rang out. A grown man bursting into tears just like that. I seriously started to wonder if he even had a dick. Suddenly, everything just felt meaningless. I turned and walked away from that suffocating air. Chapter 2. I went straight to bed after getting home and didn't wake up until late at night. Reaching for my phone, the first thing I saw was a new post from Makoto on his Moments feed. Feeling a bit down, but tried Texas Hold'em for the first time tonight. Lucky hand, thanks for your patience and not minding a newbie like me. For someone like me, who's just a broke kid who grew up buried in books, I finally realized, the poker table isn't just for wasting time, it's another kind of battlefield. Attached was a photo of the poker table. A slender, well-defined hand was pushing forward a stack of chips. Next to it was Makoto, flashing a V sign, and on the wrist of that hand pushing the chips, was the limited edition watch I gave Willow last year. Just then, my phone lit up. A message from Willow. Send me your résumé. I'll take a look at it for you. She'd spent 5 full hours playing cards with someone else before remembering me. I stared at her profile picture. It was still the one I took of her, at the foot of the snow-capped mountains, where she was smiling freely, boldly. After all these years, she'd never changed it. My finger hovered over the screen for a moment. Then I opened the settings and moved her into the block list. Half an hour later, I went downstairs for a late-night bite. My uncle saw me and asked, "What happened to your eyes?" "They're swollen," I mumbled. "Slept too much." "Pressed on them. Graduated now. You deserve a good rest." My uncle slid over a bowl of hot soup. "I still say Willow's a thoughtful girl. Her family pulled some strings and already got her a job at Panda Group, right here in town. And you, just to build a future in the same city as her, you turned down out-of-town offers and kept burning the midnight oil, learning extra skills." I felt bad just looking at those dark circles under your eyes. I put down my chopsticks. "Uncle, actually, I've accepted an offer. It's from one of the top securities firms in North City." He froze for a moment, his surprise tinged with hesitation. "But North City so far, what about you and Willow?" I cut him off. "I know the difference between career and emotions," I said calmly. "Uncle, this opportunity is a stepping stone for me. If my background check clears, I'll be heading out next week, eventually." My uncle nodded. Just then, my phone buzzed again. It was my best friend David, inviting me to our graduation blowout party. Go on. Have fun. My uncle patted me on the back. You've been holding it together long enough. Time to loosen up. Chapter 3. Half an hour later, I arrived at that well-known club. David told me to grab some drinks from the bar first. I was scooping ice into a tray when I heard a familiar voice from a nearby booth. Miss Lou, we agreed to come out and have fun, but you've been glued to your phone all night. What's up? Got blocked. Willow said casually. By who? That bold. Who else? My almighty other half. She said with a touch of helplessness. George. Huh. The person suddenly got it. Honestly, with young Master Wang's temper, who else could ever put up with him but you? Willow let out a soft laugh. I spoiled him myself. What else can I do? Gotta deal with it. What was it this time? Helped Makoto revise his resume. That's it. The person sounded speechless. Young Master Wang's got such a short fuse. But really, we've talked about it privately. If we were picking boyfriends, someone like Makoto would be ideal. Thoughtful, gentle, always putting others first. I didn't listen to the rest. I carried the drinks back to the private room. The moment I walked in, I saw David yelling at Makoto, who was, apparently, working part-time here in a waiter's uniform. Talk about bad timing. We ordered Johnny Walker Black Label, and you brought Jack Daniels. Everyone in our department knows George is allergic to Jack. How the hell is he supposed to drink this? Makoto's face turned red. There are too many people tonight. I messed up in the rush. Then fix it. What do you mean? Can't change it. Makoto spotted me like a drowning man grabbing a lifeline. George, I screwed up the order, but this is my second strike tonight. One more mistake and I lose my tips. You can afford to let this go, can't you? Just help me out, please? I sat down, expressionless. Are you confused? I am allergic to Jack Daniels. You made the mistake. Why should I pay for it? Did I place the order? It's just a glass of Black Label. 300 something. I'm begging you. We're classmates, right? Just help me this once. His face was awkward. I'm not like you guys. I have to work to pay rent and cover my expenses. Every cent counts for me. If it's so important to you, then why screw up? And if you mess up, why guilt trip others to clean up your mess? My voice was cold and sharp. I'm allergic to Jack. The lighting in here is dim. If David hadn't caught it, one sip and I'd be on my way to the ER. The fact that I'm not holding you accountable is already generous. And you expect me to pay the price for your screw-up? David chimed in too. Exactly. This is just unreasonable. Makoto was clearly in the wrong. Yet he wore the expression of someone deeply humiliated. You rich kids, you just look down on people like us, don't you? He suddenly wiped his face, then grabbed the nearby glasses of Jack Daniels and stormed toward the door, almost colliding with a group of people just walking in. Makoto, someone with sharp eyes noticed. What's wrong? Who upset you? Makoto shook his head but looked toward Willow in the crowd, eyes red. What's going on? Willow walked over. He brought the wrong drink. David stepped out and said, we ordered Johnny Walker Black Label, but he brought Jack Daniels. George is allergic, and instead of fixing it, he tried to make us pay for it. I didn't mean to. Makoto murmured, head bowed. Come on, we're all classmates. Someone tried to smooth things over. You two rich kids really care about a few drinks. A few drinks, David scoffed. Do you even know how serious George's allergy is? Last time at dinner, his chopsticks touched a bit of Jack Daniels, his throat swelled and he almost ended up in the ICU. Willow looked toward me in the private room. Her brows furrowed just slightly. Did you drink it? I pulled my lips into a smile. Would you prefer that I did? You wish I had, don't you? Well, sorry to disappoint. I'd rather not burden the emergency room. She came closer, her voice softening. All right, but you didn't drink it, so why blow this up? He didn't do it on purpose. If you're mad at me, be mad at me. Don't take it out on him. He's already got enough going on. Miss Lou, do you really think your reputation is more important than common sense? I shot back. You think I'm doing this to spite you? Are you blind or just willfully ignorant? The guy makes a mistake and now he's the victim. Let it go. Willow. Makoto sniffled, gently tugging at her sleeve. I'll bring them new drinks. I'll forfeit tonight's tips. Just, don't make things harder than they already are. He was crying again. This pathetic drama queen, he really was such a damn eunuch. Seeing his fake act pushed my temper over the edge. I shouted. Who the hell said you could speak? You screw up, and now you're pretending to be the bigger person. Where's your shame? George. Willow's voice dropped low. Firm now. That's enough. Don't go too far. Then she turned to Makoto. Send the Jack Daniels to our table. Bring them a few more Black Labels. Put it on my tab. No need. I grabbed my jacket. If the lady wants to play saint, she can do it alone. David, let's go. Ha. What a temper. Someone muttered behind me. Chapter 4. David and I walked through the quiet streets in the early morning. Sorry, George, he said, a little frustrated. I should have just ordered another drink. Saved you and Willow from fighting again. Why should I be the one to back down? I kept walking. Just because he can cry, we all have to cover for his mistakes. And besides, I stopped and added, I already broke up with Willow this afternoon. David walked silently beside me. I asked, what? You don't believe me? He let out a long sigh. Honestly, George, no one believes you'll actually break up with Willow. He looked at me and asked, are you really willing to let her go? That question echoed in my head as I sat in the car on the way home. Really willing? Still a little distance from the villa. I asked the driver to pull over. I wanted to walk. The first time I met Willow was right on this street. That year, my parents died in an accident, and I was sent to live with my uncle. On the way, people pointed and whispered, that's the kid. Insisted his parents come back for his birthday. And then on the road, such a pity. They were such a lovely couple. If it weren't for that kid. That night, I avoided everyone and walked to the edge of the man-made lake. Then I jumped in. I wanted to know if my life could bring my parents back. I don't know how Willow showed up, but she clung to me tightly and wouldn't let go. From then on, 5-year-old her followed me everywhere, like she was afraid I'd try to end it again. My parents' death made me dark, volatile. I hated myself and pushed everyone away. I cursed her, shoved her, threw rocks at her. She never got mad. She never left. When the Liu family adults told her to come home, she puffed out her cheeks and said no. She was the big sister who had to protect her little brother. Idiot. That's what I thought. In elementary school, some kid called me a cursed orphan who killed his parents. Willow rushed in and started swinging at them. He's not parentless, she shouted, her nose bruised, her lip split. Uncle and aunt are his parents now. When the crowd finally left, I looked at her coldly and said, they're not your parents, they will be. She grinned, even though it hurt. Once you marry me, won't they be? Maybe that's when I softened. That day, I reached out and pulled her off the ground. Our little hands clasped, and they didn't let go for over 10 years. Until our first year of grad school, when Makoto came to the Liu family. He was the son of Mr. Ito, their longtime driver. He'd gotten into our university's graduate program and moved in with his dad. The first time I sensed something was off was on Willow's birthday. I had brought a gift and snuck into her apartment to surprise her, hiding in the closet by the entrance. But she came in, with Makoto. Willow, happy birthday. I made this model myself. It's based on your family's old estate, he said shyly. It's probably not as fancy as what George got you, but I spent several nights working on it. Thank you. It's the thought that counts, Willow said. I felt a surge of rage. I pushed open the closet door and walked out. What do you mean, not as fancy as George's? You give your gift. Fine, but why compare it to mine? Because it's expensive. It doesn't count as heartfelt. I didn't mean it that way. He was startled when he saw me, face flushing red as he stammered. Willow escorted him out. What are you mad about? She said, closing the door and smiling at me. I don't like him. His family's in a tough spot. His mom's sick, and his dad barely makes enough driving. Getting into our school wasn't easy. Uncle asked me to look out for him, she said, just for 3 years. But those 3 years became the source of most of our fights. Makoto always managed to show up whenever Willow and I had time alone. Sometimes it was with a thesis he needed help with. Other times his laptop had suddenly broken, or he'd be sick and in need of care. And whenever I got annoyed, he'd lower his head and stay silent. To everyone else, it looked like I was bullying him. Even Willow thought I was making a fuss over nothing. It's just a small favor. What's the big deal? I don't even like him. Why are you so jealous? But something about him just rubbed me the wrong way. He'd call right when Willow and I were celebrating a big project win, saying his pipes had burst at home and he was panicking. Could she please come help? He'd suddenly have acute gastroenteritis and ask Willow to take him to the hospital. While I sat alone in a restaurant we'd booked over an hour ago, he'd ask Willow to help him revise his thesis every night online, even once when I was standing at the study door, and neither of them even noticed me there. Everyone told me to chill out. He's having a hard time. It's just helping. But I couldn't get over that feeling deep in my gut. I'd argued with her, given her the silent treatment, even broken up with her. But after every breakup, I'd toss and turn in bed, unable to sleep, then pathetically go crawling back, even trying to change, to be more understanding. David was right. I couldn't let her go. I just couldn't. A bond built over more than a decade had fused into my bones. Every time I tried to cut it off, it felt like slicing flesh off with a dull knife, excruciating. And I hate pain. That's why I kept choosing to compromise. Again and again, until last month, the project I was leading was ambushed by a ruthless competitor at a critical stage. Everything was falling apart. I tried to reach her, called over a dozen times. No answer. I handled it on my own until the middle of the night, and eventually, the crisis passed. Later, I found out she had spent that night helping Makoto rehearse for a completely irrelevant job interview. She didn't even know what I'd gone through, and in that moment, I realized, maybe breaking up wasn't so hard after all. Chapter 5. 2 weeks later, after finalizing my job offer, came Old Master Lu's 70th birthday banquet. The Liu and Wang families had been close for generations. Even though Willow and I had broken up, the old man had always been kind to me. There was no skipping his birthday. What I didn't expect was that Makoto would be there too. The seat next to Willow had always been mine. But this time, I didn't sit there. I walked straight to the opposite side of the table. After helping his father set out the fruit platters, Makoto slipped naturally into the seat beside Willow, my old spot. When I came back from giving my birthday wishes to old Master Liu, I found Willow had moved to sit next to me. Still mad, she rested her chin in her palm, her eyes teasing. It's been 2 weeks. Why the silent treatment this time? I sat down calmly and said, Willow, we broke up. You agreed to it too. She let out a light laugh. Unbelievable. Fine, then tell me, how long are you planning for this breakup to last this time? I ignored her. The banquet began. After old Master Liu blew out his candles, the elders started chatting about the three of us and our future plans. Makoto's resume for that investment bank final interview, thank heavens for Willow's edits, really made it shine. And now he's got the offer. Right downstairs from Willow's head office, Master Ito chimed in proudly. Makoto smiled sheepishly. It was all thanks to Willow giving me crash sessions and teaching me how to negotiate salary. Without her, I couldn't have gotten closer to my dream of working in investment banking. Old Madam Liu turned to me. And what about you, George? Grandma still doesn't know which firm you decided on. He actually got an offer from Panda Group in South City. Willow cut in before I could speak, pride in her voice as usual. I asked their HR director myself. The starting salary's impressive. He's got a bright future. As she said it, she nudged my shoe gently under the table. I moved my foot away and looked down to pick at my food. The platform for your first job matters a lot. You have to choose wisely. Old Master Liu nodded. Makoto jumped in quickly. Exactly, me. I come from a humble background, so I've always wanted to get into finance, partly to earn more and help my family, but also because finance is the lifeblood of the economy. And since I've received so much kindness from the Liu family, I hope that in the future, if any of you need help with asset allocation, I can give back in that way too. Choosing a job isn't just about money, it's about its value to society and how much it helps others. Don't you agree, George? I smiled. Sorry, I'm not quite as noble as you. I just want to start as an analyst, build experience, and eventually take over my family's company. Of course, if any of you are looking for wealth planning services, our firm just launched a new ultra-high net worth family office program. The team is top tier in the industry, offering global asset management and 24/7 concierge response. Really, George? Old Madam Liu's eyes lit up. That's actually a very useful service, my uncle added proudly. George showed me the proposal last week. It was extremely professional. Our whole family is behind him. The elders leaned in, eagerly asking for more details. Meanwhile, across the table, Makoto's face flushed red, then pale. After the banquet ended, Willow caught up with me under the vine-covered arbor in the garden. All right, you've made your point. Now add me back, she said. I found it ridiculous. Made my point. We're broken up. Haven't you heard? The best kind of ex is one who's as quiet as if they were dead. You're always so harsh. She reached out, trying to grab my arm. I'm heading to HQ for training next month. It'll be half a year, maybe longer. If you don't add me back now, it'll be hard to even see me. You really don't want that? I don't, I said. We're already over. What's there to want? I turned to leave. She suddenly pulled my phone out of my pocket. Give it back, I shouted. Don't be childish. She unlocked it smoothly and, as she removed herself from my block list, said, There, you're seriously going to keep this silent treatment going until your first day at Panda Group. Don't forget, you'll need someone to help you settle in. Why would I need you? She was going to South City's Panda Group. I was headed to North City's Penguin Securities. Not even in the same region. Then who are you expecting to help you? One of those pretty female colleagues at Panda. She scoffed. Forget it. On your first day, I will be the one to help. Don't forget, you have a girlfriend. I was speechless. At that moment, Makoto's voice cut in from the side. On the first day, can I come with you guys? Makoto had this uncanny ability to show up like a ghost whenever Willow and I were alone, always pretending it was just coincidence. Like he had some kind of radar installed. Willow froze, surprised, then shook her head. Sorry, Makoto. Our luggage will probably take up the whole car. I'll call another one for you. I don't have much, just a carry-on, he said, then turned to me with hopeful eyes. George, you're probably bringing more stuff, right? How about you take that car? I can ride with Willow, we'll fit just fine. I almost laughed from how absurd it was. Sure, you two go ahead. You're headed the same way anyway. I turned and walked off. Even one more second there made my skin crawl. Willow ran after me. Don't say stuff just to be spiteful. She grabbed my arm. Your first day at a new job is important. I have to be the one who takes you. I folded my arms and glanced over at Makoto, standing there all pitiful like a kicked puppy. You sure? If you don't take him, He might start crying again. Why would I take him? He's not my boyfriend, she said bluntly, then added, I didn't help with your resume because I thought an offer from Panda was a walk in the park for you. I know how amazing my boyfriend is. That's settled. Then, I'll arrange the car. She swayed my arm gently, her voice softening. All right, don't be mad anymore. Okay. Just then, a few elders strolled into the garden. Oh my, look at these two, what a perfect match. Old Madame Lou beamed. Seeing I stayed still, Willow's lips curled into a confident smile. She probably thought I'd cooled off again, that, like all the other times, this breakup was just noise without consequence. Be good, she whispered in my ear. When I get back from training, we'll start at Panda Group together. Chapter 6. 2 months passed in the blink of an eye. During those 2 months, Willow kept messaging me on and off. At first, I would reply with things like, we've broken up, stop bothering me. She completely ignored it, acting like I was just throwing a tantrum, and kept texting as usual. When I didn't respond, she'd keep sending messages anyway, relentlessly. Eventually, I'd occasionally reply with a cold just to make her stop. The day I received my official onboarding notice from North City's Penguin Securities, I celebrated with my uncle. Uncle, do you think what I'm doing is wrong? I asked. His eyes widened as he snapped. What's wrong with it? I may be old, but I'm not senile. That Lou girl and Makoto, there's something going on. I saw it clear as day at the banquet. And I didn't say anything that day about how she was making my nephew look like a fool. George, you've got the talent. You should be working at a major platform like Penguin. Penguin's onboarding date was 1 week earlier than Willow's company HQ. My uncle insisted on seeing me off in person, so we flew to North City early and used the time to get familiar with the area. As the plane climbed, I stared out the window at the shrinking city skyline, and for the first time, I truly felt it. I had left. I got a new North City phone number, registered a new social media account, and only added a handful of people like David. My uncle stayed with me for the first week after I started the job. Just a few days after he left, while I was walking with a senior colleague on the way to a morning meeting, my phone rang. David. George. Something's happened. Word is, Willow never showed up to report in at Panda Group. I froze. What? She finished training and went looking for you, but neither you nor your uncle were around. So she figured you two went traveling. And for some reason, she actually went to that investment banking mixer with Makoto. You changed numbers, so you haven't seen Makoto's posts. He's been spamming his Moments feed, 9 picture collages every day. Every single one had Willow in it. Anyone looking at them would think he's her actual boyfriend. Then came onboarding day. You weren't there. She couldn't reach your uncle or you by phone. That's when she started freaking out, messaging everyone she could think of, even going back to our university to ask around. That's when she ran into one of the professors and finally found out you never accepted the Panda Group offer. You went to Penguin in North City. The professor seemed surprised, said he thought she knew, mentioned that you had asked him not to spread the word about getting the Penguin offer. She came to see me yesterday. She looked totally wrecked, no makeup, hair a mess, asking me if I knew why you went to North City. I asked her, don't you know why? Then I showed her Makoto's Moments feed. I told her, anyone could see how clingy the two of them were. How could George keep putting up with that? She said she had no idea about those posts. Honestly, she didn't look like she was lying. I think she might be coming to find you. Not might. She's already here. As I lowered the phone, I looked up, and there she was, standing right in front of me. Travel-worn and breathless. Chapter 7. Willow looked completely wrecked. No makeup. Dark circles under her eyes. Bloodshot and weary. Gone was the bright, polished woman I once knew. Xiao Wang. Who's this? My colleague asked. I said nothing. She looks like it's urgent. Want me to take the materials up for you? I shook my head. No need. Let's go together. As I walked past Willow, she suddenly grabbed my wrist. George, I have a morning meeting. It's important. I brushed her hand off and said coolly, if there's something to say, we'll talk afterward. Then I followed my colleague into the elevator. 20 minutes later, I came back downstairs. Willow was still standing in the same spot. My colleague glanced at her, then asked in a low voice, do you need help? She looks pretty shaken. It's fine, thanks. Sister, bye. I replied with a smile. She's an old friend. She nodded. Let me know if you need anything. I brought Willow to a tea house downstairs from the office. We sat by the window. I need an explanation. Her voice was hoarse. We broke up, I replied. She stared at me, her gaze unrelenting. Because I helped him with his resume. Let's say that's why. Do you even realize what kind of decision you've made? We agreed to build our future here, in this city, and now you just up and leave without saying a word. George, what do you even take me for? Take you for? What a joke. An ex, I said calmly. And since you're an ex, where I work isn't your concern anymore. Why? Her voice rose. You've fallen for someone else, that woman from earlier. I let out a short laugh. Wow. Willow, after hanging around Makoto long enough, you've really picked up the art of flipping the script, haven't you? I stood up. If you're here to accuse me, throw a tantrum, and blame me for the breakup, then there's nothing left to say. I picked up my briefcase and turned to leave, but she grabbed my wrist with all her strength. Her whole body was trembling. 18 years. 18 years, she lifted her head, eyes bloodshot. All because of a résumé. That's your excuse for walking away. You were tired of me all along, weren't you? You just wanted to ditch me, admit it. George, how could you be so cruel? After everything, you just cut me off like it meant nothing. Did you even have a heart? Do you know what I thought about every day during training? I thought, once we both settled down, I'd buy a place in South City. We'd finally have our own home. We'd go to work together in the mornings, spend weekends furniture shopping, curl up on the couch watching movies. We'd both shine in our own careers, and then we'd get married. I even went to that banking mixer because I heard some Panda Group execs would be there. I wanted to help clear the path for you. You know what I was doing the few days you were flying to North City for your job? I was researching all the housing options in South City that would suit us. And while I sorted through all those listings, all I could think was, her eyes were frighteningly red. When I picked you up on your first day, I'd give you this surprise. You'd be so happy you'd jump for joy. I was planning our future like an idiot. George, and you, what the hell were you doing? Did it feel good? Huh? Leading me on like that, did it make you happy? I looked at her quietly. All I saw was heartbreak, resentment, disbelief, shattered pride. I sat back down across from her. Willow, I said, do you know why I started pushing that family office project the second I got the Penguin offer? Chapter 8. She froze. On the night of May 15th, my uncle went out of town for a business trip, and my aunt took a leave to visit her hometown. I was home alone and ordered seafood takeout. I didn't check the ingredients carefully. It had crab roe in it, which I'm allergic to, I said calmly. I'm not sure if it had anything else, but the allergic reaction was more severe than ever before. I couldn't breathe. Everything went dark, and rashes broke out all over my body. I called you multiple times, but no one answered. Eventually, I called 911. In those long 10+ minutes waiting for the ambulance, I kept calling you. When the ambulance arrived, I practically crawled to open the door. Willow's pupils suddenly contracted. When they lifted me onto the stretcher, I honestly thought I wasn't going to make it. As the ambulance wailed past your apartment building, I wished so badly that you'd see it, that you'd be with me. I've always been afraid of hospitals. That night, I thought of my parents. I didn't want to die alone in a hospital. I was shaking so hard they had to physically restrain me. It wasn't until after 2 a.m. that my symptoms barely came under control. I refused to stay for observation and took a cab home by myself. That's when your call finally came. Do you remember what I asked? I asked why you hadn't answered all night. And do you remember what you said? Willow's face turned ghostly pale. You said you were helping Makoto with mock interviews and had silenced your phone to focus. Her voice trembled. George. I didn't know. I really didn't know. If I had, you didn't know. Because when I got your call, I was standing right outside your building. I shook my head, forcing a faint smile. Funny, isn't it? I wasn't that upset when I couldn't reach you or had to go to the hospital alone. But once I heard your reason, it hurt more than the suffocating allergy attack. I looked up at the light coming from your study window and, I don't know why, but I suddenly thought of that time in our sophomore year. You remember? I broke my arm playing basketball. You gave up the piano competition final you had prepared for months and ran like a maniac to the infirmary. I called you crazy, and you, eyes red with tears, shouted at me, George, you better remember this. Whenever you need me, I'll run through hell and fire to be there for you. These past 2 years, I've been blaming myself. Every argument, every breakup, I kept wondering if I was too hot-tempered, too petty, too demanding. But that night, standing outside your building, watching the lights in your and Makoto's rooms go off one by one, in that moment, I finally let go. I don't know when it started, but the person who used to rush to me without hesitation now has someone else in their eyes. Someone to confide in about my temper. Someone worth forgetting me over. And maybe that's your choice. I could never be as gentle and considerate as Makoto. No matter how much noise I make, it's meaningless now. This play of ours, of the three of us, it's time to take the final bow. Willow stared at me blankly, as if all her strength had been drained. So, those last 2 months before graduation, you'd already decided to leave? Yeah, I smiled faintly. And you didn't even notice I'd been reaching out less. You were too busy helping Makoto with his interviews, even though you knew. I never liked him. No, I never liked him. George, I was wrong. I really didn't know what happened that night. If I had known, I would have rather died than leave you alone. Her voice choked with sobs. It's all in the past. I shook my head. You just wanted a reason today, so I gave you one. That's all. I don't like him. I really don't. I never thought he'd come between us. I helped with his resume and prepped his interviews just because his family's struggling. I was only lending a hand. If I actually liked him, if I ever wanted something with him, would I have put so much effort into planning our future together? Please, believe me, George. She reached out, trying desperately to grab my hand. Just lending a hand. I dodged her grasp, my tone detached. Willow, you just took advantage of the fact that I wouldn't leave, so you guiltlessly soaked up someone else's admiration and dependence. Don't tell me you didn't know he's always had feelings for you. I took a sip of tea and continued, but it doesn't matter anymore. You're just not used to it. That's all. I used to think I couldn't live without you, either. But like I said the day we broke up, time and distance blur everything. No one is truly indispensable. I don't want this. She slammed her clenched fist onto the table, her knuckles turning white. I'm not breaking up. I won't. A single tear fell and splashed on the polished surface of the table, then another, and another. George, it's been 18 years. You can't just say you don't want me anymore. I'll cut him off. I'll change. I'll change everything. Let's not break up, please. Let's not break up. Looking into her bloodshot eyes, a dull ache rose in my chest. I knew that pain well, the pain of tearing away. She said she'd planned a future, but so had I. She never knew. Inside the cap of that custom fountain pen I gave her on her 25th birthday, I had engraved a tiny line of text. It was a promise, for a lifetime together, one I had meant to show her when everything had settled, but now, it no longer mattered. Willow, go home, I said, shaking my head. There's no going back for us anymore. Chapter 9. Willow didn't go home. She came to the entrance of Penguin Group every single day. When I went to work, she'd sit in the lobby's cafe area. She'd buy my favorite iced Americano, send up late-night snacks when I was working overtime, and even, God knows how, managed to get a copy of our office building's access card, trying to sneak into the elevator. When it rained, she'd wait at the door with an extra umbrella. When the weather turned cold, she'd show up with a thick coat. She did all of this like it was the most natural thing in the world, as if we were still a loving, inseparable couple. But I never accepted anything, and I never responded. It became a one-person performance, hers alone. My colleagues would ask me privately, "That pretty, persistent girl downstairs, is she your girlfriend?" I'd say, "Ex-girlfriend." Whoa, they'd gasp. "An ex that beautiful and devoted, and you still have the heart to say no? Why not just get back together?" She kept it up for an entire month. Then, at an industry networking event, I met a woman. She was a partner at a well-known law firm, sharp, elegant, and articulate. Her insights into the financial market left a strong impression on me. After the event, she took the initiative to exchange business cards and invited me to coffee that weekend to discuss possible collaboration. That scene happened to be witnessed by Willow, who was waiting in the lobby. She instinctively stepped forward, like she had countless times in the past, ready to assert her presence, as if claiming her territory. But after taking 2 steps, she abruptly stopped, because she heard me on the phone saying, "All right, see you this weekend, George." She rushed over and grabbed my arm, eyes red and wild. "Don't say yes to her. George, please, don't agree to meet her." I thought of the phone call I got last night from Aunt Lou. "George, we elders won't meddle in your young folks' business. We're happy you're doing well in North City, but if Willow keeps this up, she's going to lose her position at Panda Group. You know how much she sacrificed to get into that company. I'm begging you, talk to her. Convince her to come back, please." "Willow," I said, "it's time for you to go home." Chapter 10. At first, Willow refused to leave, but 3 days later, she finally returned to South City, because Grandma Lou was hospitalized after falling ill from stress. 2 days later, I got a call from my uncle. "George, you need to come back." "What happened?" Sigh. "It's that Lou girl again. She's refusing to report for work at Panda Group, and now she's throwing a tantrum, saying she wants to resign and move to North City. Your Grandpa Lou and Grandma Lou are absolutely furious. Oh, and now she's threatening to go on a hunger strike. You know her stomach's always been weak." She collapsed again. "I had to use our family's medical concierge card to get a specialist to come to the house." He sighed. "I know you've made up your mind to break up, but Grandpa and Grandma Lou have treated you like their own grandson since you were little. Just come back and talk some sense into her. Get that girl to stop making trouble and go back to work." I booked the earliest flight back to South City. The moment Grandma Lou saw me, she began to wipe her tears. "You two were doing so well. What happened? If Willow bullied you, just tell Grandma. I'll set her straight for you." "All right." I shook my head. "Grandma, please take care of your health. I'll go up and check on her." Upstairs, just outside Willow's bedroom, I ran into Makoto. He was holding a bowl of warm porridge meant to soothe the stomach and was gently trying to persuade her. "Get lost. Who told you to come?" "I said you're not allowed in my house again." Willow's hoarse voice roared from inside the room. "Ito-san's back pain flared up today, so I came in his place," Makoto said. voice as timidly stubborn as ever. If not for yourself, can't you at least think of those who truly care about you? Something slammed hard against the door. I said, get lost. Don't you understand human language? I'm not leaving. Makoto's voice rose, laced with tears. I'm not as heartless as he is. I can't stand watching you destroy yourself like this. If you won't eat or go to work, then I won't eat or go to school either. Go ahead and die. See if I care. Get out. The next second, the door flew open. Willow's lifeless eyes instantly lit up the moment they saw me. George. She shoved Makoto aside. You're back. When did you get here? Just got off the plane. I replied calmly. If this isn't a good time, I can come back later. Don't be silly. Her eyes immediately turned red. I knew you wouldn't abandon me. I was silent for a few seconds. Willow. This is childish. Come in. She gripped my hand tightly, pulling me into the room, completely ignoring Makoto beside her. I've already contacted some headhunters in South City. A few companies look promising. Take a look. But suddenly, Makoto extended an arm, blocking the doorway. Move. Willow's voice turned ice cold. Why are you being so stupid? What is it you like about him anyway? Makoto looked at Willow, his eyes filled with unshed tears. He's selfish, cold, bad-tempered, and all he does is take from you. His parents died because of him. Willow, are you really going to ruin yourself over him? Shut up. Willow was trembling with rage. Say one more word about George and I swear I'll rip your mouth apart. This is between us. Stay out of it. I won't stay out of it. Seeing you like this hurts more than dying. Then he turned to me, his eyes filled with resentment. George, have you ever really cared about her? What have you ever done except take and take? Her stomach's weak. Did you ever make her porridge once? She was so exhausted from rotating shifts that she nearly passed out from low blood sugar. But she still thought to buy you a late-night snack. Did you ever feel sorry for her? She gave everything to you. What did you give her in return? I suddenly smiled. George, don't listen to this lunatic. Willow clutched my hand tighter in panic. I pulled my hand free, looked at Makoto with a cold smirk, and said, you think you're the one who really loves her, don't you? You think she's just some poor girl blinded by a toxic relationship, and you're the noble savior here to rescue her? What a joke. She pities you. You pity her. The two of you really are a perfect match. I stepped forward. You ask what I've done for her. You warm up one bowl of porridge and think that makes you some kind of tragic romantic hero. Did it never occur to you that this porridge recipe doesn't even exist on the market? Makoto froze. That's because the bowl you're holding, I made it. Every summer, at our old countryside house, I personally cooked it for her. Her stomach's delicate. To help her heal, I pored over medical texts, experimented with dozens of formulas, stayed up countless nights until I finally settled on this one. It's obscure, no factory would produce it, and I didn't trust outsourcing it anyway. So every summer, I did it myself. I picked the best rice, the most authentic medicinal herbs. I stood by the clay pot and simmered it for half a day. Do you know how suffocating a kitchen gets in the middle of summer? You only see the polished version of her, the prestigious degree, the glamorous look. But did you know that in her second year of grad school, the pressure from her project was so overwhelming that she had sleepless nights, even thoughts of giving up? I'm the one who found her a therapist. I stayed up chatting with her when she couldn't sleep. I dropped everything to take her into the mountains for a week when she couldn't bear to face people. My voice was ice. I never planned to tell you any of this, but seeing your self-righteous savior complex just disgusts me. Yes, Willow and I broke up, but who the hell are you to question what I gave her? Makoto stared at me, lips trembling, utterly speechless. Get out. Makoto. Willow's voice was sharp as ice. Don't make me call security. Then what about me? He collapsed onto the floor, looking up at her like a drowning man grasping at a final straw. These 3 years, everything we've shared, day in and day out. Willow, are you saying you never felt anything for me? No, Willow replied, firm and resolute. If I gave you the wrong idea, I'm sorry. But if I had known helping you would cost me George, I'd rather never have met you. He stared at her in a daze. For a long moment, he didn't move. Then finally, covering his face, he turned and ran down the stairs in a stumble. Chapter 11. Clatter. In his panic, Makoto knocked over the delicate pen stand on Willow's desk, the custom fountain pen I gave her on her 25th birthday, engraved with a vow for the future, rolled to the ground, the cap and body separating. She scrambled to pick it up, but the moment her hand grasped the pen body, she froze. Inside the cap, the line of carefully hidden micro-engraved words glinted clearly under the light. To my Willow, may the rest of my life write each chapter of our future together. George. Willow sank to her knees on the carpet, her hands trembling as she picked up the cap. Holding it to the light, she carefully rotated it, reading the even smaller inscriptions engraved along the inner rim, lines that could only be seen when turned just right. The first one, Willow, happy graduation. I gave everything I had to get closer to your future. My reward, will a kiss be enough? The second, sweetheart, You've worked hard this year. Boyfriend sounds a little worn out now, interested in something more permanent. Like, calling me husband. The third, today's the day we move into our new home. Tell me, what color flowers did you choose for the balcony? The fourth, the fifth, Willow. I just found a gray hair. No laughing. Next life. Let me meet you first. Okay. And finally, Willow, if you're reading this, it means we really did spend a lifetime together. Your ticket to the next life, officially stamped. She clutched the pen, sobbing uncontrollably. I'll go to North City and find a job, she said, looking up through tear-filled eyes. George, once I'm settled, give me a chance, please? I shook my head. Willow, do you remember the first day I returned to South City, when you waited for me downstairs? That day, I had just finished an important conference call. It was about a long-term overseas assignment, part of a cross-border MA project. She went still. Yesterday, I got the official notice. I've been approved. I'm relocating to London next month. The light in her eyes instantly went out. Even if you go to North City, I won't be there. Is it because you want to get away from me? Her voice shook. Do you really hate me that much? I shook my head. No. I sat down on the carpet beside her, looking out at the sunset sinking beneath the horizon. It's because going to North City made me realize the world is so much bigger than I thought. And once I got through the pain of our breakup, I found that even alone, life can still be beautiful. I want to go further. I want to see more. So I seized this opportunity. I turned to her. Willow, you can too. Even without me, your life will still shine. No, it won't. Not without you. She sobbed like the sky had collapsed. George, 18 years, my whole life plan was built around you. I was stupid. I was awful. You said it. You said you didn't like him. You said it. Yes, I did. But life doesn't offer a rewind button. That day, the last rays of sunlight vanished below the horizon, and her tears didn't stop. Maybe at last she understood what kind of resolve it took for me to walk away from these 18 years of love. Chapter 12. I returned to North City and threw myself into new work and overseas assignment preparations. I liked the open sky and fast-paced life of North City. Here, autumn was high and clear, and in winter, the wind was fierce but the heating warm. Willow eventually reported in at Panda Group, but she declined all unnecessary social events and flew to North City every weekend. Without fail, she never disturbed me. Sometimes she'd just stand from afar outside my office building. Sometimes she'd sit an entire afternoon in the cafe across from my apartment. She came every week, so of course she saw how well I was thriving here. But in this vibrant life, there was no trace of her. I knew she was hoping I'd change my mind. Gradually, new faces appeared in my life. Colleagues who appreciated my work, peers who took the initiative to connect. They'd invite me to play ball, discuss industry trends, and explore collaboration opportunities. Every time Willow saw me laughing and chatting with someone as I left the building, her fists clenched tight, and her eyes turned red, but she had no ground to interfere. She did text me, shared her longing, her regret. I replied politely, but distantly. If I knew there was no going back, then I shouldn't give her any illusion otherwise. Before I left the country, with my assignment paperwork all approved, I made a brief trip back to South City. David told me Makoto had been let go from that investment bank. Willow found out he'd been spreading rumors and cut him off. She even posted a public statement in their elite circle's internal forum, making it crystal clear. Said she had only one true love, her childhood sweetheart, George, now building a career in finance. David whistled. It caused quite a stir in their circle. Makoto became a joke. Everyone said he was just a toad lusting after a swan. He couldn't take the hit. Started messing up at work. Made a rookie accounting error that nearly cost a client a fortune. The firm's cutthroat. They let him go without blinking. I answered flatly. He never had a strong foundation. That job came from a resume Willow polished and mock interviews she ran for him. The real world is ruthless. You can't fake it forever. My uncle had mentioned it too. Apparently Makoto and his father went to the Liu family demanding compensation. Uncle Liu called the police on the spot. David continued. At the New Year class reunion, Willow showed up. Didn't see you. And she looked totally out of it. Honestly, she's nothing like the goddess she used to be. So thin she's unrecognizable. Totally lost her glow. Man, you really did take too good care of her before. Before I left, I saw Willow one last time at the airport. She was so thin she could barely fill out the trench coat we had once picked out together. I almost didn't recognize her. My stomach, the old problem. I've been hospitalized for a while. She forced a smile, her face pale as paper. Oh, I said, pausing. I've written out the porridge recipe and detailed prep instructions. Sent it to Aunt Lou, but she's busy too. You might want to consider signing up for private medical services. I can recommend a good one. She shook her head bitterly. This is what I deserve. I brought this on myself. Still, I stuffed a brochure into her hand. A final act of kindness, perhaps. You're leaving. Her voice was soft, cautious. Yeah, I nodded. Flights this afternoon. My uncle's seeing me off. Can I visit you in London someday? Her eyes held one last flicker of hope. I smiled gently and slowly shook my head. It's too far. Don't trouble yourself. A year of clinging had to end somewhere. She needed to let go too. But still, she stubbornly shook her head. Goodbye. I waved at her and turned toward the security checkpoint. Outside the massive terminal windows, the morning light pierced through the clouds, painting the sky in clear gold and crimson, like molten glass, full of endless possibility. Suddenly I remembered, many years ago, on a morning just like this, I once held Willow's hand, pointed to the sky, and said, "One day, we'll go see the bigger world together." Today's sunrise seemed more magnificent than any in my memory, and I would be setting off alone, toward the vast world that now belonged to me. Who says that's not something to look forward to?